Hello and welcome to this space of calm and reflection. You've joined me here on the Mindful Zone. Today, we're embarking on a journey inward, away from the noise and distractions that so often pull us out of ourselves. In our modern world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant buzz of notifications, the endless scroll through social media feeds, and the pressure to stay perpetually connected. But what if there was a way to step back from all of that? What if there was a path toward reconnecting with who you truly are, finding peace amidst the chaos and rediscovering balance in your life? This video is designed to guide you through meditation practices rooted in Buddhism, mindfulness techniques, and practical tools to help you disconnect, not as a rejection of technology or social media, but as an act of liberation. Whether you're someone who's just beginning their exploration of meditation or someone who already has a practice but wants to deepen it in relation to reducing stress and improving well-being, this content is for you. We'll explore how these ancient teachings can be applied to our contemporary lives, helping us navigate the challenges of living in a hyper-connected digital age. Let's take a moment right now to pause. If you're sitting down, find a comfortable position. If you're lying down, allow yourself to relax fully into the surface beneath you. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Feel the weight of your body grounding you to the earth. Notice any sensations in your body, any thoughts passing through your mind without judgment. This is your time, your space. And no matter where you are in your journey, I want you to know that you belong here. Today we'll cover 10 chapters, each building on the last, offering insights and exercises to support you in cultivating mindfulness, setting boundaries with technology, and embracing practices that nurture your inner peace. Along the way, we'll reflect on concepts like impermanence, loving kindness, gratitude, and presence. These aren't abstract ideas, they're tools you can use every single day to transform not only your relationship with social media, but also your relationship with yourself. Before we dive in, I encourage you to approach this experience with curiosity and openness. You don't need any special equipment or prior knowledge, just a willingness to show up for yourself. There may be moments when your attention drifts, when your mind wanders, or when you feel resistance. That's okay. It's all part of the process. Every time you bring your awareness back to the present moment, you strengthen your ability to live more mindfully. So, let's begin by acknowledging why this topic matters so much. Social media wasn't created to harm us. It was designed to connect us, entertain us, and inform us. Yet over time, many of us have found ourselves feeling more disconnected than ever. The very platforms meant to bring people closer together can sometimes leave us feeling isolated, anxious, or inadequate. Why does this happen? How do we break free from these patterns? And most importantly, how can we harness the power of mindfulness to reclaim our attention and focus on what truly matters? As we move forward, remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about taking small, intentional steps toward creating a life that feels aligned with your values and priorities. Together, we'll explore how to cultivate a healthier relationship with technology, one that supports your well-being rather than detracting from it. Take another deep breath in and exhale. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Problem with Constant Connectivity. Let's start by talking about something we've all experienced: the overwhelming pull of constant connectivity. Think about it. How often do you find yourself reaching for your phone without even realizing it? Maybe you're waiting in line at the grocery store, sitting in traffic, or simply lying in bed trying to fall asleep. Your hand instinctively moves toward that glowing screen, and before you know it, minutes or hours have slipped away. This isn't just a coincidence, it's by design. Social media platforms and apps are engineered to capture our attention and keep us engaged for as long as possible. They use algorithms that feed us content tailored specifically to trigger emotional responses, whether it's excitement, envy, anger, or amusement. These emotions in turn keep us scrolling, clicking, and coming back for more. It's no wonder so many of us feel like we're trapped in an endless loop of consumption. But let's take a step back and ask ourselves, what is this doing to us? On the surface, social media promises connection, entertainment, and information, and yes, it delivers on those fronts. To some extent, we can stay updated on what our friends and family are doing, discover new ideas and hobbies, and access a wealth of knowledge right at our fingertips. But beneath the surface lies a different story, one filled with unintended consequences that affect our mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. One of the most significant issues with constant connectivity is the toll it takes on our attention span. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to focus on a single task these days? Whether it's reading a book, writing an email, or having a meaningful conversation, distractions seem to creep in constantly. This phenomenon has been studied extensively, and researchers have found that frequent interruptions, like checking your phone or switching between tabs, actually rewire our brains. Over time, we become conditioned to crave novelty and instant gratification, making sustained focus increasingly difficult. And then there's the impact on our mental health. Studies show that excessive social media use is linked to higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Why? Because when we spend too much time comparing ourselves to others online, we start to feel inadequate. Scrolling through perfectly curated photos and highlight reels can make our own lives seem dull or unremarkable by comparison. Even if we logically understand that what we see online isn't always reality, it's hard not to internalize those feelings of inadequacy. It's also worth noting that social media can create a false sense of connection. While it allows us to stay in touch with people across the globe, it doesn't necessarily foster deep, meaningful relationships. Think about it. How many of your online interactions involve truly listening, empathizing, or sharing vulnerably? More often than not, they're superficial exchanges, likes, comments, emojis that leave us feeling momentarily validated, but ultimately unsatisfied. Another aspect of constant connectivity that often goes overlooked is its effect on our physical health. How many times have you stayed up late scrolling through your feed, only to wake up groggy and exhausted the next morning? Sleep deprivation is just one of the ways technology disrupts our body's natural rhythms. Beyond that, prolonged screen time can lead to eye strain, headaches, poor posture, and even chronic pain. And let's not forget the sedentary lifestyle that often accompanies excessive device use. Sitting for hours on end can contribute to a host of health problems, from obesity to cardiovascular disease. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not suggesting that social media or technology itself is inherently bad. In fact, when used mindfully, it can be incredibly beneficial. The problem arises when we lose control over how and why we're using these tools. When we allow them to dictate our behavior instead of serving as resources to enhance our lives, that's when things start to spiral out of balance. So, how did we get here? To answer that question, we need to look at both the psychological and societal factors at play. From a psychological perspective, humans are wired to seek connection and validation. Throughout history, our survival depended on forming strong social bonds within communities. Fast forward to today, and while our environment has changed dramatically, our basic needs haven't. Social media taps into this primal desire for belonging, offering us instant feedback in the form of likes, shares, and comments. But because this feedback is external and fleeting, it leaves us craving more, a cycle that's hard to break. On a societal level, the rise of digital culture has fundamentally altered how we interact with the world around us. Gone are the days when downtime meant sitting quietly, reflecting, or engaging in face-to-face conversations. Now, every spare moment seems to be filled with stimuli, from podcasts and videos to games and social feeds. While this constant stimulation may feel productive, it actually prevents us from being fully present in our own lives. Instead of savoring the richness of each moment, we're rushing to document it, share it, or move on to the next thing. The good news is that awareness is the first step toward change. Simply recognizing the impact of constant connectivity gives you power over it. You don't have to let your devices rule your life. You can choose how and when to engage with them. For instance, consider setting boundaries around your screen time. Start small. Designate certain periods of the day as tech-free zones. During meals, put your phone away and focus on connecting with the people around you. Before bed, give yourself at least an hour of screen-free time to wind down and prepare for restful sleep. Another powerful strategy is to practice mindfulness whenever you use technology. Before you pick up your phone, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I bored, stressed, or genuinely seeking connection? By becoming more intentional about your actions, you'll begin to notice patterns and triggers that lead to mindless scrolling. Once you identify these habits, you can start replacing them with healthier alternatives, like journaling, meditating, or going for a walk. Of course, breaking free from the grip of constant connectivity won't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. There will be days when you slip back into old habits, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up for yourself, one mindful choice at a time. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. To illustrate this point, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I found myself completely consumed by social media. I was spending hours every day scrolling through my feeds, comparing myself to others, and feeling increasingly disconnected from the real world. One day, I decided to conduct a little experiment. I turned off all non-essential notifications on my phone and set a daily limit for social media usage. At first, it felt uncomfortable. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, only to realize I couldn't access my usual distractions. But over time, something remarkable happened. I started noticing the beauty in everyday moments, the way sunlight filtered through the trees, the sound of laughter during dinner with friends, the quiet stillness of early mornings. My mind felt clearer, my mood improved, and I rediscovered a sense of presence that had been missing for far too long. If I could go back and give my past self one piece of advice, it would be this. You deserve better than to live your life on autopilot. You deserve to experience joy, connection, and fulfillment in ways that nourish your soul, not deplete it. And guess what? So do you. Whatever stage of life you're in, whatever challenges you're facing, you have the ability to reclaim your time, energy, and attention. It starts with acknowledging the problem and taking small, consistent steps toward change. As we wrap up this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with technology. Are there areas where you feel out of control? Moments when you wish you could disconnect but don't know how? Take a moment to write down one specific action you'd like to take to create healthier boundaries. It could be as simple as leaving your phone in another room during meals or setting a timer for your social media sessions. Whatever it is, commit to trying it out for the next week and see how it feels. In the chapters ahead, we'll dive deeper into practical strategies and mindfulness practices to help you navigate this journey. But for now, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you're not alone. Together, we're creating a space where peace and presence are possible, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 2. What is mindfulness really? Now that we've explored the challenges of constant connectivity and its impact on our lives, let's turn our attention to a powerful antidote, mindfulness. You may have heard this term before. It's become quite popular in recent years. But what does it really mean? And more importantly, how can it help us navigate the complexities of modern life, especially when it comes to managing our relationship with technology? At its core, mindfulness is simply paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about noticing what's happening right now, whether it's the sensation of your breath, the sound of birds chirping outside, or the thoughts passing through your mind. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it? Yet in practice, mindfulness can feel surprisingly challenging. Why? Because so much of our daily existence is spent either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Rarely do we take the time to truly be here, fully awake to the richness of this very moment. Let's break this down further. When we talk about paying attention, we're not just referring to external stimuli like sights and sounds. Mindfulness also involves tuning into our internal landscape, the emotions we're feeling, the sensations in our bodies, and the stream of thoughts flowing through our minds. This awareness gives us valuable insight into how we respond to different situations and often reveals patterns we weren't previously conscious of. For example, you might notice that certain triggers, like receiving a notification or seeing a negative comment online, cause you to react impulsively without thinking things through. By becoming aware of these reactions, you create space to choose a different response, one that aligns with your values rather than being driven by habit or emotion. The second part of the definition, without judgment, is equally important. Too often, we approach our experiences with criticism or resistance. We label our thoughts as good or bad, judge ourselves harshly for mistakes, or compare our progress to others. Mindfulness invites us to let go of this tendency to evaluate and instead adopt an attitude of curiosity and kindness toward ourselves and our experiences. Imagine observing your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky. You acknowledge them, watch them pass, but you don't cling to them or try to push them away. This non-judgmental stance allows us to cultivate greater self-compassion and acceptance, which are essential components of well-being. Now, you might be wondering, how does mindfulness relate to social media? The connection becomes clearer when we consider how easily distracted and reactive we become in the digital realm. Think about the last time you scrolled through your feed. Did you do so mindfully, savoring each post and engaging intentionally? Or were you zipping from one item to the next, barely registering what you saw before moving on? Most likely, it was the latter, and that's perfectly normal. Social media is designed to keep us hooked, encouraging rapid consumption rather than thoughtful engagement. But mindfulness offers a way out of this cycle, or by bringing awareness to our online behavior, we can begin to use technology more intentionally, choosing what serves us and letting go of what doesn't. To illustrate this point, let's explore some practical examples of how mindfulness can transform our interactions with social media. First, there's the act of picking up your phone. How many times have you grabbed it reflexively without even realizing why? Mindfulness encourages us to pause before taking action. Before reaching for your device, ask yourself, what am I hoping to gain from this? Am I seeking information, connection, or entertainment, or am I simply trying to escape boredom or discomfort? This brief moment of reflection can make all the difference, helping you decide whether opening that app is truly necessary, or if another activity might better meet your needs. Once you're online, mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the present moment. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through endless content, bring your full attention to each post. Notice how it makes you feel. Is it uplifting, neutral, or draining? If something sparks strong emotions such as envy or frustration, resist the urge to react immediately. Take a deep breath, step back, and remind yourself that what you're seeing isn't necessarily reality. People tend to share their highlights online, creating a skewed perception of their lives. By approaching these moments with mindfulness, you protect your mental health and avoid falling into the comparison trap. Mindfulness also extends beyond individual actions to encompass broader habits around technology. For instance, setting boundaries with screen time requires a mindful approach. Rather than imposing strict rules out of guilt or obligation, tune into your body and emotions to determine what feels right for you. Are you using your phone because it genuinely adds value to your day, or because it's become a default coping mechanism? By listening to your inner wisdom, you'll naturally gravitate toward healthier choices. Another key aspect of mindfulness is cultivating presence in everyday activities, including those involving technology. Consider writing an email or crafting a message on social media. Instead of rushing through the task, slow down and give it your full attention. Choose your words carefully, considering how they might affect the recipient. Not only will this improve the quality of your communication, but it will also deepen your sense of connection with others. After all, true presence fosters empathy and understanding, qualities that are sorely needed in today's fast-paced world. Of course, practicing mindfulness isn't always easy. Our minds are accustomed to wandering, jumping from one thought to the next without pause. That's why formal meditation practices are so helpful. They train us to focus and return to the present moment whenever we drift off. One of the simplest yet most effective forms of meditation is breath awareness. All you need to do is sit comfortably, close your eyes, and bring your attention to your breathing. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils and the warmth leaving as you exhale. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently guide it back to your breath without judgment. Even 5 minutes of this practice can reset your nervous system and reduce stress. For those new to meditation, starting small is key. Begin with just 2 or 3 minutes a day, gradually increasing the duration as you grow more comfortable. Over time, you'll notice subtle shifts in your awareness, not just during meditation, but throughout your daily life. Tasks that once felt mundane or stressful may start to feel richer and more meaningful. You'll develop a greater appreciation for the little things, the taste of your morning coffee, the texture of fabric against your skin, the rhythm of your footsteps as you walk. These seemingly ordinary moments hold extraordinary beauty when we learn to pay attention. It's worth noting that mindfulness isn't limited to sitting still or meditating. In fact, it can be practiced anywhere, anytime. Washing dishes. Focus on the warmth of the water and the scent of the soap. Walking outdoors. Pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground and the colors of the surrounding scenery. Engaging in conversation. Listen deeply, offering your full presence to the person speaking. The possibilities are endless, and each opportunity reinforces your ability to live more fully in the present. One of the most profound benefits of mindfulness is its capacity to foster resilience. Life is unpredictable, filled with ups and downs that can leave us feeling overwhelmed. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to meet challenges with equanimity, acknowledging difficulties without becoming consumed by them. This skill is particularly valuable when navigating the highs and lows of social media. Whether you're dealing with cyberbullying, toxic comparisons, or simply the fatigue of staying constantly connected, mindfulness provides a steady anchor, a reminder that no matter what happens externally, you have the power to maintain inner peace. To demonstrate this principle in action, let me share another personal story. A while back, I found myself caught in a whirlwind of negativity after encountering hurtful comments online. At first, I reacted defensively, allowing anger and frustration to take over. But then I remembered my mindfulness practice. I took a step back, closed my eyes, and focused on my breath. Slowly, I began to observe my emotions without identifying with them. I realized that those comments didn't define me. They were merely reflections of someone else's perspective. Letting go of the need to control or fix the situation freed me from unnecessary suffering. From that day forward, I approached similar incidents with greater clarity and composure. Stories like this highlight the transformative potential of mindfulness. They show us that while we can't always change our circumstances, we can change how we relate to them. And that shift in perspective can make all the difference. As we move deeper into this chapter, I'd like to invite you to try a short mindfulness exercise. Find a quiet spot where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Rest your hands gently on your lap and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Now allow your breathing to settle into its natural rhythm. Bring your attention to the physical sensations of each inhale and exhale. If distractions arise, thoughts, sounds, bodily sensations, acknowledge them briefly, then return your focus to your breath. Stay with this practice for 3 to 5 minutes or longer if you feel inclined. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have been calming and centering. For others, it might have brought up restlessness or discomfort. Both reactions are completely normal. Remember, Mindfulness isn't about achieving a particular state, it's about showing up for whatever arises with openness and curiosity. Before we conclude this chapter, I want to emphasize that mindfulness is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There's no finish line, no final level of mastery. Every day presents new opportunities to practice, stumble and grow. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep coming back to the present moment again and again with patience and compassion for yourself. In the chapters ahead, we'll continue exploring specific techniques and tools to deepen your mindfulness practice and apply it to various aspects of your life. But for now, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned so far. How might mindfulness support you in creating a healthier relationship with technology? What small step could you take today to integrate more presence into your routine? Write it down, commit to it, and trust that every effort counts. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of mindfulness. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 3: Buddhism and the Art of Letting Go. In this chapter, we're going to explore one of the most profound teachings from Buddhism, the art of letting go. This concept may sound simple on the surface, but its implications run deep, offering a powerful framework for navigating not only our relationship with social media, but also our broader experience of life. At its heart, letting go is about releasing attachment, not just to material possessions or outcomes, but to the thoughts, emotions, and habits that keep us stuck in cycles of stress, dissatisfaction, and suffering. To understand why letting go is so transformative, let's first delve into some foundational principles of Buddhism. Central to Buddhist philosophy is the idea of dukkha, often translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness. According to this teaching, much of human pain stems from clinging, whether it's clinging to pleasure, status, relationships, or even ideas about how things should be. When we hold tightly to these attachments, we set ourselves up for disappointment because everything in life is impermanent. People change, circumstances shift, and nothing lasts forever. The more we resist this truth, the more we suffer. Social media amplifies this dynamic in subtle yet significant ways. Think about it. When you scroll through your feed, what are you seeking? For many of us, it's validation, a sense of worthiness derived from likes, comments, or followers. We post pictures, share updates, and curate our profiles, hoping to project an image of success, happiness, or desirability. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting connection or recognition, problems arise when we become overly attached to these external markers of approval. Suddenly, our self-esteem hinges on something outside of ourselves, something fleeting and unpredictable. One negative comment or lack of engagement can send us spiraling into self-doubt or frustration. Buddhism offers a radical alternative. Instead of chasing after validation, we cultivate inner peace by detaching from the need for constant affirmation. This doesn't mean rejecting compliments or avoiding meaningful interactions online. Rather, it means recognizing that your value isn't determined by external factors. You are enough exactly as you are, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. By internalizing this belief, you free yourself from the exhausting pursuit of perfection and the fear of judgment. Another key aspect of Buddhist wisdom is the principle of impermanence, or anicca. Everything in life is transient. Our emotions, relationships, careers, even our physical bodies. Yet, despite knowing this intellectually, we often act as though permanence exists. We cling to moments of joy, trying to make them last forever, or obsess over painful experiences, believing they'll never end. Social media exacerbates this tendency by freezing time into static images and curated posts. It creates the illusion that certain moments are eternal, which can lead to unrealistic expectations and comparisons. When we embrace impermanence, however, we begin to see life and social media through a different lens. That perfect photo someone shared, it's just a snapshot, not the entirety of their existence. That viral post that got thousands of likes, its relevance will fade, just like every trend before it. Even your own carefully crafted profile isn't a fixed representation of who you are, it's merely a momentary expression, subject to change. By acknowledging impermanence, we loosen our grip on the need to control or preserve these fleeting aspects of life. Instead, we learn to appreciate them for what they are, temporary expressions of beauty, creativity, or connection. Now let's talk about another cornerstone of Buddhist thought: non-attachment. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference or apathy, it's quite the opposite. It's about engaging with life wholeheartedly while remaining unattached to specific outcomes. Imagine scrolling through social media without fixating on metrics or reactions. You post something because it feels authentic and meaningful to you, not because you're desperate for attention. If people respond positively, great. If they don't, that's okay too. Your sense of fulfillment comes from within, not from external validation. This mindset requires practice, especially in a world that constantly reinforces the opposite message. Advertising, algorithms, and societal norms all encourage us to attach our happiness to external achievements: more followers, better content, higher engagement. But Buddhism reminds us that true contentment arises from letting go of these dependencies. It invites us to ask ourselves, what would my life look like if I stopped measuring my worth by numbers or appearances? What if I focused instead on cultivating compassion, kindness, and presence? One practical way to apply this teaching is through mindful observation of your thoughts and emotions. The next time you feel triggered by something on social media, whether it's envy, frustration, or insecurity, pause and notice what's happening inside you. Instead of reacting impulsively, sit with the feeling for a moment. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it tightness in your chest, tension in your jaw, or a heaviness in your stomach? Simply observing these sensations without judgment can help you create distance from them, preventing knee-jerk reactions that might escalate the situation. For example, imagine you come across a post where someone boasts about their latest accomplishment. Your initial reaction might be jealousy or resentment. Rather than suppressing those feelings or lashing out, acknowledge them with kindness. Ah, here's jealousy showing up again. Then remind yourself that everyone has their own journey, and comparing yours to someone else's only leads to suffering. From this place of awareness, you can choose a response that aligns with your values, perhaps sending a supportive comment or redirecting your focus to something that brings you genuine joy. Letting go also applies to our digital habits themselves. Many of us use social media as a form of escapism, turning to our devices whenever we feel bored, anxious, or uncomfortable. But Buddhism teaches us that discomfort is an inherent part of life. It's not something we need to avoid at all costs. In fact, leaning into discomfort can be incredibly liberating. Instead of reaching for your phone the next time you feel restless, try sitting with that sensation. Breathe deeply, observe what's arising, and trust that it will pass. Over time, you'll build resilience and discover new sources of strength within yourself. Of course, letting go isn't always easy. It challenges deeply ingrained patterns of behavior and thought. To support this process, meditation plays a crucial role. Meditation allows us to observe our minds without getting swept away by their contents. Through consistent practice, we develop greater clarity and equanimity, enabling us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. One particularly effective meditation technique rooted in Buddhism is called vipassana, or insight meditation. This practice involves focusing on bodily sensations, thoughts, and emotions as they arise, observing them with curiosity and detachment. As you meditate, you'll likely encounter resistance or distractions, but each time you gently bring your attention back to the present moment, you strengthen your ability to let go of unnecessary attachments. Here's a simple exercise to guide you through Vipassana meditation. Find a quiet space where you can sit comfortably for several minutes. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax. Now bring your attention to your breath, noticing the cool air entering your nostrils and the warmth leaving as you exhale. After a minute or two, expand your awareness to include any sensations in your body. Perhaps you notice tingling in your fingers, tension in your shoulders, or warmth in your belly. Allow these sensations to exist without trying to change them. Next, turn your attention inward, observing any thoughts or emotions that arise. Don't judge them or push them away. Simply watch them come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. If you find yourself getting caught up in a story or narrative, gently return your focus to your breath or bodily sensations. Continue this practice for 5 to 10 minutes or longer if you feel inclined. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have been calming and grounding. For others, it might have brought up restlessness or discomfort. Both reactions are valid. The goal isn't to achieve a particular state, but to cultivate awareness and acceptance of whatever arises. With regular practice, you'll find it easier to let go of unhelpful thoughts and emotions, both online and offline. Letting go also extends to our relationships with others, including those we interact with on social media. Too often, we approach these connections with expectations, hoping for likes, comments, or shares that validate our efforts. But Buddhism encourages us to engage with others from a place of generosity and goodwill, without attachment to reciprocity. Whether you're posting content, commenting on someone's update, or simply liking their photo, do so with sincerity and authenticity. Release the need for acknowledgement, trusting that your actions ripple outward in ways you may never fully see. To illustrate this principle, consider the concept of dana or generosity in Buddhism. Dana refers to giving freely without expecting anything in return. On social media, this could mean sharing resources, offering encouragement, or celebrating someone else's success without jealousy or competition. By practicing dana, you contribute to a culture of kindness and connection, counteracting the negativity and divisiveness that sometimes dominate online spaces. Finally, let's touch on the role of patience and compassion in the process of letting go. Change takes time, and breaking free from deeply ingrained habits requires immense self-compassion. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns, and that's perfectly normal. What matters is that you keep showing up for yourself, one mindful choice at a time. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and forgive yourself for setbacks. Remember, mindfulness and letting go are lifelong practices. They evolve alongside you as you grow and change. As we wrap up this chapter, I invite you to reflect on how the art of letting go might support your journey toward healthier technology use. Are there areas where you feel overly attached, whether it's to validation, comparison, or certain habits? What would it feel like to release those attachments, even just a little bit? Take a moment to write down one specific action you'd like to take to integrate this teaching into your daily life. It could be setting boundaries around your screen time, practicing gratitude for your unique qualities, or approaching social media with a spirit of generosity and goodwill. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Buddhism and the art of letting go. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater freedom, peace, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 4: Setting Boundaries with Technology. In this chapter, we're going to explore one of the most practical and empowering aspects of creating a healthier relationship with technology: setting boundaries. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by constant notifications, distracted by endless scrolling, or frustrated by how much time you spend on your devices, you're not alone. The truth is, technology is designed to capture our attention, and without clear limits, it can easily take over our lives. But here's the good news: you have the power to reclaim control. By establishing thoughtful boundaries, you can protect your time, energy, and well-being while still enjoying the benefits that technology offers. Let's start by acknowledging why boundaries are so important. Imagine your attention as a finite resource, a precious commodity that determines how productive, creative, and present you can be. Every time you allow yourself to be pulled into unnecessary distractions, you're depleting that resource. Over time, this can lead to burnout, stress, and a sense of being perpetually scattered. On the other hand, when you set boundaries around your technology use, you create space for what truly matters, whether that's meaningful conversations, personal growth, or simply resting and recharging. So, what does it mean to set boundaries with technology? At its core, it's about defining how, when, and why you engage with your devices. It's about making conscious choices rather than reacting automatically to every buzz, beep, or notification. And perhaps most importantly, it's about aligning your habits with your values. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to live? How do I want to spend my time? What role do I want technology to play in my daily routine? Once you clarify these intentions, you'll find it easier to establish guidelines that support your goals. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to set boundaries is by designating tech-free times and spaces. For example, consider implementing a no phones at the table rule during meals. This creates an opportunity to connect with loved ones, savor your food, and practice mindful eating, all of which contribute to greater satisfaction and fulfillment. Similarly, you might decide to keep your bedroom a tech-free zone, especially before bed and upon waking. Research shows that exposure to screens right before sleep disrupts melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep and reducing the quality of rest. By removing devices from your nighttime routine, you give your body and mind a chance to wind down naturally, leading to deeper, more restorative sleep. Another powerful strategy is to schedule regular breaks from technology throughout the day. These pauses don't have to be long, even 5 or 10 minutes can make a significant difference. Use this time to stretch, breathe deeply, or step outside for some fresh air. Not only will these mini breaks refresh your mind, but they'll also help break the cycle of continuous screen time, giving you a renewed sense of clarity and focus. To make this habit stick, try setting reminders on your phone or using apps specifically designed to encourage digital detoxes. Some popular options include Forest, which gamifies staying off your phone by growing virtual trees, or Freedom, which blocks distracting websites and apps during designated periods. Of course, setting boundaries isn't just about limiting your overall screen time, it's also about being intentional about how you use technology. One helpful exercise is to categorize your online activities into 3 buckets: essential, neutral, and non-essential. Essential tasks might include work-related emails, video calls with family, or accessing important information. Neutral activities could involve browsing educational content, listening to podcasts, or participating in online communities that enrich your life. Non-essential activities, on the other hand, tend to be those that provide short-term entertainment or distraction but offer little lasting value. Think mindless scrolling, binge-watching videos, or engaging in unproductive arguments. Once you've identified which activities fall into each category, prioritize accordingly. Make time for the essentials first, then allocate a reasonable amount of time for neutrals. As for non-essentials, consider setting strict limits or eliminating them altogether. Many smartphones now come with built-in features like Screen Time, iOS, or Digital Wellbeing, Android, which allow you to monitor your usage and set app-specific timers. Taking advantage of these tools can help you stay accountable and ensure that your technology use remains balanced and purposeful. Now, let's talk about notifications. One of the biggest culprits when it comes to disrupting our focus and draining our attention. Think about it. Every time your phone lights up with a new alert, it pulls you out of whatever you were doing and forces you to decide whether or not to respond. Multiply that by dozens or even hundreds of interruptions per day, and it's no wonder so many of us feel frazzled and unfocused. The solution? Turn off non-essential notifications and curate your alerts to include only the most critical ones. For instance, you might keep notifications for text messages and calendar reminders, but disable them for social media apps, news updates, or games. For those who struggle with the temptation to check their phones constantly, another useful technique is to switch your device to grayscale mode. Studies show that color plays a significant role in capturing our attention. By removing vibrant hues, you reduce the visual appeal of your screen and make it less enticing to pick up unnecessarily. Pair this with placing your phone out of reach, such as in another room or inside a drawer, and you'll find it much easier to resist the urge to grab it impulsively. Setting boundaries also involves addressing the psychological factors that drive excessive technology use. Often we turn to our devices as a way to cope with uncomfortable emotions like boredom, anxiety, or loneliness. While this provides temporary relief, it doesn't address the underlying issue. In fact, it can sometimes exacerbate it by reinforcing avoidance behaviors. Instead of reaching for your phone the next time you feel uneasy, try experimenting with alternative coping strategies. Journaling, meditating, practicing gratitude, or engaging in physical activity are all excellent ways to process emotions and build resilience. Over time, you'll develop healthier habits that nourish your mind and soul rather than numbing them. It's worth noting that setting boundaries isn't a one-size-fits-all process. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to experiment, reflect, and adjust until you find what feels right for you. For instance, some people thrive on complete digital detoxes where they disconnect entirely for a day or weekend. Others prefer gradual reductions, slowly scaling back their screen time over weeks or months. Both approaches are valid as long as they align with your needs and preferences. To illustrate this point, let me share a story from my own experience. A few years ago, I realized I was spending far too much time on social media, often at the expense of other priorities. Determined to make a change, I decided to implement a series of small but impactful boundaries. First, I turned off all non-essential notifications, ensuring that only urgent alerts would interrupt me. Next, I established a tech curfew, vowing not to look at my phone after 8 p.m. Finally, I designated Sundays as a screen-free day, dedicating that time to offline activities like reading, hiking, or spending quality time with friends and family. At first, these changes felt challenging. I missed the instant gratification of checking my feed or responding to messages immediately. But over time, I noticed profound shifts in my mood, productivity, and overall well-being. My relationships deepened, my creativity flourished, and I felt more grounded and present in my daily life. If you're inspired to set similar boundaries, start by identifying one area where you'd like to make a change. Maybe it's reducing your social media use, carving out dedicated tech-free hours, or creating sacred spaces free from distractions. Whatever you choose, commit to sticking with it for at least a week, observing how it impacts your mindset and behavior. Be patient with yourself. Breaking old habits takes time, and there will inevitably be moments when you slip up. That's part of the process. What matters is that you keep showing up, refining your approach, and learning along the way. As we continue exploring this topic, I'd like to highlight the importance of communication in setting boundaries with technology. If you live with family members, roommates, or partners, it's essential to discuss your intentions openly and collaboratively. For example, if you decide to establish tech-free zones or times, explain why these changes matter to you and invite others to join in. Not only does this foster mutual understanding and respect, but it also strengthens your shared commitment to living more intentionally. Plus, having accountability partners can significantly increase your chances of success. Finally, let's touch on the role of mindfulness in maintaining healthy boundaries. Even with the best laid plans, it's easy to fall back into old patterns, especially when faced with external pressures or unexpected challenges. Mindfulness acts as a safeguard, helping you stay aware of your actions and motivations in real time. Before picking up your phone or opening an app, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Does it serve my highest good? This simple act of reflection can prevent impulsive decisions and reinforce your commitment to intentional technology use. Here's a quick mindfulness exercise to guide you through this process. Find a quiet spot where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax. Now visualize a situation where you typically reach for your phone, perhaps waiting in line, feeling bored, or seeking validation. Imagine yourself pausing in that moment, bringing awareness to your thoughts and emotions. Are you feeling restless, anxious, curious? Whatever arises, acknowledge it without judgment. Then ask yourself, is this action aligned with my values? Will it bring me closer to the life I want to live? Practice responding with intention, choosing behaviors that nurture your well-being rather than detracting from it. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have sparked insights or clarity around your current habits. For others, it might have highlighted areas where you'd like to grow. Either way, remember that mindfulness is a skill that develops over time. The more you practice tuning into your thoughts and emotions, the easier it becomes to navigate technology with wisdom and discernment. Before we conclude this chapter, I want to leave you with a final thought. Setting boundaries with technology isn't about restriction, it's about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of distraction and reclaiming your power to live fully and authentically. By taking ownership of your digital habits, you create space for joy, connection, and presence in your life. And that ultimately is what mindfulness is all about. As always, I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned so far. What boundary could you set today to protect your well-being? How might mindfulness support you in honoring that boundary even when it feels difficult? Write it down, commit to it, and trust that every small step brings you closer to the life you envision. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of setting boundaries with technology. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 5. The Power of Breath Awareness. In this chapter, we're going to dive deep into one of the most accessible and transformative practices available to us, breath awareness. You might be wondering, what's so special about breathing? After all, it's something we do automatically without even thinking about it. But here's the thing. While breathing is involuntary, how we relate to our breath can have a profound impact on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. By cultivating awareness of our breath, we unlock a powerful tool for calming the mind, reducing stress, and reconnecting with the present moment, a practice that's particularly relevant when it comes to managing our relationship with social media and technology. Let's start by understanding why the breath is such a central focus in mindfulness and meditation traditions. Across cultures and centuries, practitioners have recognized the breath as a bridge between the body and the mind. It's always with us, yet we rarely pay attention to it until perhaps we're feeling overwhelmed or out of control. When we consciously bring our awareness to the breath, we anchor ourselves in the here and now. We step out of the whirlwind of thoughts, worries, and distractions and return to the simplicity of being alive in this very moment. Breath awareness works because it taps into the autonomic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for regulating functions like heart rate, digestion, and stress response. When you take slow, deliberate breaths, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and recovery. On the other hand, shallow or rapid breathing signals the sympathetic nervous system, triggering the fight or flight response associated with stress and anxiety. By learning to regulate your breath, you essentially train your body to stay calm and centered even in challenging situations. Now let's apply this understanding to the context of social media. Have you ever noticed how your breathing changes when you're scrolling through your feed? Maybe you're holding your breath unconsciously as you wait for likes or comments on a post. Or perhaps you find yourself taking quick, shallow breaths when encountering something upsetting or triggering online. These subtle shifts in your breathing pattern can amplify feelings of tension, frustration, or overwhelm. Conversely, by bringing mindful awareness to your breath during these moments, you create a buffer, a space between stimulus and response that allows you to navigate digital interactions with greater clarity and composure. So, how exactly do we practice breath awareness? The beauty of this technique lies in its simplicity. All you need is your breath. No special equipment, no prior experience. no complicated instructions. Here's a basic framework to get started. Sit comfortably, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Rest your hands gently on your lap or knees and close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Take a few natural breaths, allowing your body to settle into stillness. Then begin to observe the sensations of your breath, how the air enters your nostrils, fills your lungs, and leaves your body again. Notice whether your inhales are short or long, deep or shallow. Feel the rise and fall of your chest or the gentle expansion of your belly. If your mind starts to wander, and it almost certainly will, acknowledge the distraction without judgment and gently guide your attention back to your breath. This act of returning over and over again is the essence of meditation. It's not about achieving some perfect state of focus. It's about training your mind to stay present, no matter what arises. To deepen your practice, you can experiment with different techniques designed to enhance breath awareness. One popular method is called box breathing, also known as square breathing. To try it, inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for another 4 counts, exhale gently through your mouth for 4 counts, and then pause for a final 4 count before beginning the cycle again. Repeat this sequence several times, focusing on the rhythmic flow of your breath. Box breathing is especially effective for calming nerves and centering yourself in high-stress situations. It's often used by athletes, performers, and even military personnel to maintain focus under pressure. Another technique worth exploring is diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. This involves breathing deeply into your abdomen rather than shallowly into your chest. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly as you inhale. If you're doing it correctly, the hand on your belly should rise, while the hand on your chest remains relatively still. Diaphragmatic breathing maximizes oxygen intake and activates the relaxation response, making it an excellent tool for reducing anxiety and promoting restful sleep. Try practicing this technique lying down, as it encourages full body relaxation. For those who enjoy visualization, imagine your breath as a wave washing over you. As you inhale, picture cool, refreshing energy flowing into your body, filling you with vitality and peace. As you exhale, visualize warm, stale air leaving your system, carrying away tension and negativity. This imagery can make the practice feel more engaging and immersive, helping you stay connected to the present moment. Now, let's talk about how breath awareness intersects with mindfulness. Mindfulness, as we discussed earlier, is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Your breath serves as a focal point, a steady anchor that keeps you grounded when distractions arise. For example, the next time you feel tempted to check your phone or scroll aimlessly through social media, pause and take 3 conscious breaths. Feel the air moving in and out of your body and notice any impulses or urges without acting on them. This brief interruption gives you a chance to assess whether picking up your device aligns with your intentions, or if there's a more nourishing activity you could choose instead. Breath awareness also fosters self-compassion, which is crucial when working to change habits around technology. Too often, we criticize ourselves harshly for slipping back into old patterns, like staying up late scrolling or losing track of time online. Instead of beating yourself up, use your breath as a reminder to approach yourself with kindness. When you notice unhelpful behaviors, take a deep breath and say silently, "I'm human, I'm learning, I'm doing my best." This simple act of self-soothing can diffuse guilt and shame, creating space for growth and progress. One of the most remarkable aspects of breath awareness is its versatility. You can practice it anywhere, anytime, whether you're sitting at your desk, standing in line, or lying in bed. In fact, incorporating mini breath breaks throughout your day can have a cumulative effect, gradually reducing stress levels and increasing overall resilience. For instance, set a timer to remind yourself to pause every hour and take 5 intentional breaths. Over time, these micro moments of presence add up, transforming how you experience each day. To illustrate this point, consider the concept of introception, or the ability to sense and interpret internal bodily signals. Research shows that people who are more attuned to their breath and other physiological cues tend to manage stress better and exhibit greater emotional regulation. By practicing breath awareness regularly, you sharpen your interoceptive abilities, becoming more adept at recognizing early warning signs of burnout, fatigue, or overwhelm. Armed with this awareness, you can intervene proactively, for example, by stepping away from your screen or engaging in a calming activity before things escalate. Now, let's address a common misconception about breath awareness, that it's only useful for formal meditation sessions. While seated meditation is a wonderful way to cultivate this skill, it's far from the only application. In reality, breath awareness can enhance virtually every aspect of your life, including how you interact with technology. For instance, before responding to a potentially contentious comment online, take a moment to breathe deeply. Allow the initial surge of emotion, anger, defensiveness, irritation to pass before crafting your reply. Not only will this prevent impulsive reactions, but it will also enable you to communicate more thoughtfully and constructively. Similarly, breath awareness can support you during transitions between tasks. How many times have you jumped straight from checking email to scrolling social media without giving yourself a moment to reset? By pausing to breathe between activities, you signal to your brain that it's time to shift gears, improving focus and productivity. Even something as mundane as opening a new app becomes an opportunity to reconnect with the present moment. Before tapping that icon, take a single mindful breath. Ask yourself, is this action aligned with my values? Will it enrich my life in some way? Of course, developing a consistent breath awareness practice requires patience and persistence. At first, it might feel awkward or uncomfortable, especially if you're accustomed to rushing through your day without much thought. That's perfectly normal. Like any new habit, it takes time to integrate breath awareness into your routine. Start small, perhaps dedicating just 1 or 2 minutes per day to focused breathing, and gradually increase the duration as you grow more comfortable. Over time, you'll find that the benefits extend far beyond the moments of practice itself, influencing how you show up in every area of your life. To guide you further, let's walk through a longer guided breath awareness meditation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and allow your body to relax. Begin by taking a few natural breaths, letting go of any tension or effort. Now bring your attention to the sensation of your breath, entering and leaving your nostrils. Notice the coolness of the air as you inhale and the warmth as you exhale. Follow the path of your breath as it travels down your throat, expands your chest, and fills your lungs. If your mind wanders, and it probably will, gently acknowledge the distraction and return your focus to your breath. There's no need to force anything. Simply observe the rhythm and flow. If you'd like, you can silently count your breaths, inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and pausing for 4. Continue this cycle for 5 to 10 minutes or longer if you feel inclined. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have been calming and centering. For others, it might have brought up restlessness or discomfort. Both experiences are valid. The goal isn't to achieve a particular state, but to cultivate awareness and acceptance of whatever arises. With regular practice, you'll discover that the breath becomes a trusted ally, a source of stability and peace amid life's inevitable ups and downs. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to emphasize the profound ripple effects of breath awareness. When you prioritize this practice, you're not just benefiting yourself. You're contributing to a culture of presence and mindfulness. Imagine a world where everyone took a few conscious breaths before posting, commenting, or reacting online. The quality of our digital interactions would improve dramatically, fostering greater empathy, understanding, and connection. Though we can't control others' behavior, we can lead by example, embodying the principles of mindfulness in everything we do. Before moving forward, I invite you to reflect on how breath awareness might support your journey toward healthier technology use? Are there specific moments where you could benefit from pausing and breathing deeply? What challenges or obstacles might you encounter as you incorporate this practice into your daily life? Write them down along with strategies for overcoming them. Trust that every effort counts, no matter how small. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of breath awareness. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 6. Loving Kindness, Meditation for Digital Detox. In this chapter, we're going to explore one of the most heartwarming and transformative practices rooted in Buddhism, loving kindness meditation, or metta. This practice isn't just about cultivating compassion for others, it's also a powerful tool for healing our relationship with ourselves, especially in the context of social media and technology. In fact, when we bring loving kindness into our digital interactions, we counteract negativity, comparison, and judgment, creating a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond our screens. Let's begin by understanding what loving kindness meditation is and why it matters so much. At its core, metta involves sending wishes of well-being, happiness, and peace to ourselves, to loved ones, to strangers, and even to those who challenge us. It's about softening the edges of our hearts, opening ourselves up to connection, and recognizing the shared humanity that binds us all. While this practice might sound simple, its effects are profound. Studies show that regular metta meditation can reduce stress, increase feelings of social connection, and improve overall emotional resilience, qualities that are essential for navigating the complexities of modern life. Now, you might be wondering, how does loving kindness relate to social media? Think about your typical online experience. Chances are it's a mix of positive and negative interactions, heartfelt messages, inspiring posts, but also criticism, envy, and conflict. Social media often amplifies emotions, both good and bad, leaving us feeling drained or disconnected. But here's the thing, every time we engage with someone online, we have a choice. We can react impulsively, driven by frustration or insecurity, or we can respond with kindness and empathy. Loving kindness meditation helps us cultivate the inner resources needed to make that second choice, the one that fosters understanding and harmony rather than division and strife. One of the reasons loving kindness is so effective is that it addresses the root causes of many digital struggles: comparison, self-criticism, and fear of rejection. Have you ever scrolled through your feed and felt inadequate after seeing someone else's highlight reel? Or perhaps you've hesitated to post something because you were worried about how others would perceive it. These feelings are incredibly common, but they stem from a lack of self-compassion. When we fail to treat ourselves with kindness, we become more vulnerable to external validation, or worse, harsh judgment. Loving kindness meditation flips this dynamic by teaching us to extend warmth and care inward first. Only then can we authentically share that same energy with others. So, how do we practice loving kindness meditation? The process is straightforward yet deeply impactful. Begin by finding a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes if that feels natural, or simply lower your gaze. Take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and settle into stillness. Now, silently repeat the following phrases, directing them toward yourself. May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease. As you recite these words, imagine them sinking into your heart, filling you with a sense of warmth and acceptance. Don't rush. Take your time with each phrase, letting it resonate fully before moving on to the next. If distractions arise, thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, acknowledge them gently and return your focus to the wishes. Once you've spent several minutes offering loving kindness to yourself, expand your circle of compassion outward. Picture someone you love, a close friend, family member, or partner, and direct the same phrases toward them. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, May you live with ease. Feel the sincerity behind these wishes, imagining them wrapping around the person like a comforting embrace. Notice how it feels to send love and kindness to someone who brings joy to your life. Next, shift your attention to a neutral person, someone you encounter regularly but don't know well, such as a barista, co-worker or neighbor. Repeat the phrases for them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. Even though you may not have a personal connection with this individual, recognize their humanity and inherent worth. Everyone experiences joys and challenges, hopes and fears. By extending loving kindness to them, you remind yourself of this universal truth. Finally, consider someone who has caused difficulty in your life, a challenging colleague, an estranged friend, or even someone who has hurt you online. This step can feel uncomfortable, but it's also where the real transformation happens. Direct the same phrases toward them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. Remember, this doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or excusing wrongdoing. Rather, it's about releasing resentment and choosing peace for your own sake as much as theirs. Holding on to anger or bitterness only weighs you down, while forgiveness sets you free. To deepen your practice, visualize each recipient surrounded by light or warmth. Imagine their burdens lifting, replaced by a sense of ease and contentment. You don't need to force anything. Simply hold the intention of kindness and trust that it will ripple outward in ways you may never fully see. Now, let's talk about how loving kindness meditation can specifically support a digital detox. For many of us, social media serves as a double-edged sword. On one hand, it connects us to people, ideas, and opportunities. On the other hand, it exposes us to negativity, comparison, and conflict. By practicing metta, we create a buffer, a reservoir of goodwill that protects us from being overwhelmed by these challenges. For example, the next time you encounter a critical comment or unkind message online, pause and take a few conscious breaths. Then, silently offer loving kindness to the person who posted it, not necessarily because they deserve it, but because it helps you maintain perspective and equanimity. Instead of reacting defensively, you'll find it easier to respond, or not, with grace and wisdom. Loving kindness also supports us in setting healthier boundaries with technology. Often we use social media as a form of escapism, turning to our devices whenever we feel lonely, anxious, or bored. But instead of numbing our emotions, we can lean into them with compassion. The next time you feel the urge to scroll mindlessly, try placing your hand over your heart and saying silently, "It's okay to feel this way. I'm here for myself." Follow this with a round of loving kindness meditation, either aloud or in your mind. Over time, you'll discover that self-kindness becomes a more satisfying alternative to distraction. Another beautiful aspect of loving kindness is its ability to foster gratitude and appreciation. Social media often encourages us to focus on what we lack, whether it's material possessions, achievements, or relationships. But when we practice metta, we shift our attention to abundance. We notice the countless blessings already present in our lives, supportive friends, meaningful work, moments of beauty and joy. To amplify this effect, consider incorporating gratitude into your loving kindness meditation. After sending wishes of happiness and safety, add a line like, "Thank you for being part of my life," or "I appreciate your presence, however fleeting it may be." For those who enjoy journaling, pairing loving kindness with written reflection can be particularly powerful. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for related to your online experience. Maybe it's a thoughtful comment someone left on your post, a funny meme that brightened your mood, or a virtual event that brought people together. Then, extend loving kindness to the individuals involved, acknowledging their role in enriching your day. This practice not only shifts your mindset, but also strengthens your capacity for connection and generosity. Of course, developing a consistent loving-kindness practice requires patience and persistence. At first, it might feel awkward or forced, especially if you're accustomed to judging yourself or others harshly. That's perfectly normal. Like any new habit, it takes time to integrate metta into your routine. Start small, perhaps dedicating 5 minutes per day to sending kind wishes, and gradually increase the duration as you grow more comfortable. Over time, you'll notice subtle yet significant changes in your outlook and behavior. You'll approach social media with greater mindfulness, savoring uplifting content and filtering out negativity. You will interact with others from a place of authenticity and empathy, fostering deeper and more meaningful connections. To guide you further, let's walk through a longer guided loving-kindness meditation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and allow your body to relax. Begin by taking a few natural breaths, letting go of any tension or effort. Now, bring your attention to your heart center, the area in the middle of your chest. Imagine it glowing softly, radiating warmth and light. Silently repeat the following phrases, directing them toward yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Feel the kindness flowing through you, soothing any areas of pain or discomfort. Allow yourself to bask in this unconditional love, knowing that you deserve it completely. Next, picture someone you love dearly. Visualize their face clearly, noticing the details of their expression. Send them the same phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. Imagine their burdens easing, replaced by a sense of peace and contentment. Feel the bond between you strengthening, fueled by mutual care and understanding. Now, turn your attention to a neutral person, someone you encounter regularly but don't know well. Picture them vividly, recalling their voice, mannerisms, or energy. Offer them the same wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. Acknowledge their humanity, recognizing that they too experience joys and sorrows, triumphs and setbacks. Let your kindness flow freely without expectation or attachment. Finally, consider someone who has challenged you, a difficult colleague, an estranged friend, or even someone who has hurt you online. Visualize them as clearly as possible, acknowledging their flaws and imperfections. Despite any lingering resentment, offer them the same phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. If this feels challenging, remember that forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. By releasing animosity, you lighten your load and open your heart to greater possibilities. Conclude the meditation by expanding your circle of compassion to include all beings everywhere. Silently repeat, may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. May all beings live with ease. Visualize this wish spreading outward, touching everyone and everything it encounters. Feel the interconnectedness of all life, knowing that your kindness contributes to a larger web of peace and harmony. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have sparked a deep sense of connection and warmth. For others, it might have brought up resistance or discomfort. Both experiences are valid. The goal isn't to achieve a particular state, but to cultivate awareness and acceptance of whatever arises. With regular practice, you'll discover that loving kindness becomes a trusted ally, a source of strength and resilience amid life's inevitable ups and downs. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to emphasize the profound ripple effects of loving-kindness meditation. When you prioritize this practice, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're contributing to a culture of empathy and understanding. Imagine a world where everyone paused before posting, commenting, or reacting online, asking themselves, would this message spread kindness or harm? The quality of our digital interactions would improve dramatically, fostering greater connection and harmony. Though we can't control others' behavior, we can lead by example, embodying the principles of loving kindness in everything we do. Before moving forward, I invite you to reflect on how loving kindness might support your journey toward healthier technology use. Are there specific moments where you could benefit from pausing and sending kind wishes? What challenges or obstacles might you encounter as you incorporate this practice into your daily life? Write them down along with strategies for overcoming them. Trust that every effort counts, no matter how small. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of loving kindness meditation. Together we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 7. Finding Joy Beyond the Screen. In this chapter, we're going to explore one of the most liberating and life-affirming aspects of reducing our dependence on social media and technology, finding joy beyond the screen. If you've ever felt like your phone or computer has become a substitute for real-world experiences, you're not alone. Many of us turn to our devices seeking connection, entertainment, or distraction, but often what we find is fleeting satisfaction rather than lasting fulfillment. The key to breaking free from this cycle lies in rediscovering the richness of offline activities that ignite passion, creativity, and genuine human connection. Let's dive into how you can cultivate a life filled with joy that doesn't rely on screens. To begin, let's acknowledge why it's so easy to get sucked into the digital world. Social media platforms are designed to be addictive. They offer instant gratification, endless novelty, and the illusion of infinite possibilities. Scrolling through curated feeds gives us a quick hit of dopamine, creating the sense that we're engaged in something meaningful. But here's the catch. These moments of stimulation rarely translate into deep satisfaction. Instead, they leave us craving more, perpetuating a cycle of consumption that keeps us tethered to our devices. Over time, this habit can crowd out opportunities for authentic, enriching experiences, the kind that nourish our souls and remind us of what truly matters. So, how do we break free? The answer lies in shifting our focus outward to the people, places, and pursuits that bring us alive. One of the first steps is identifying activities that spark joy and fulfillment in your life. Ask yourself, what did I love doing before I spent hours scrolling online? What hobbies or interests have I neglected because I didn't have time? Chances is there are passions waiting to be rekindled, things like reading, cooking, gardening, drawing, playing music, or exploring nature. These activities not only provide a healthy alternative to screen time, but also help you reconnect with parts of yourself that may have been overshadowed by constant connectivity. Let's take a closer look at some specific examples of offline pursuits and their benefits. For instance, engaging in creative endeavors like painting, writing, or crafting can be incredibly therapeutic. Not only do they allow you to express yourself in unique ways, but they also foster mindfulness by requiring full attention to the task at hand. When you're immersed in creating something, whether it's a poem, a sketch, or a knitted scarf, you naturally enter a state of flow, a psychological phenomenon characterized by complete absorption and heightened focus. In this state, worries about likes, comments, or virtual validation fade away, replaced by a profound sense of presence and purpose. Physical activity is another powerful antidote to screen fatigue. Whether it's yoga, dancing, running, or simply taking a walk outdoors, movement revitalizes both body and mind. Exercise boosts endorphins, reduces stress, and improves sleep quality, all of which contribute to greater overall well-being. Moreover, spending time in nature amplifies these effects. Research shows that exposure to green spaces lowers cortisol levels, enhances mood, and increases feelings of awe and wonder. Even a short stroll through a park can shift your perspective, reminding you of the beauty and vastness of the world beyond your screen. Another avenue for finding joy offline is nurturing relationships with loved ones. While social media allows us to stay connected virtually, nothing compares to face-to-face interaction. Sharing laughter over coffee, having heartfelt conversations, or collaborating on projects together strengthens bonds in ways that emojis and text messages simply cannot replicate. To prioritize these connections, consider setting aside dedicated tech-free time each week. For example, hosting a game night, organizing a picnic, or volunteering as a group. By investing in these moments, you create memories that endure long after the event itself has passed. For those who crave intellectual stimulation, learning new skills or diving into educational resources offline can be deeply rewarding. Libraries, workshops, and community classes offer countless opportunities to expand your knowledge without relying on digital tools. Imagine mastering a new language, experimenting with photography using a traditional camera, or attending a pottery class where you shape clay with your hands. These experiences engage multiple senses, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of the subject matter. Plus, they often involve interacting with others who share similar interests, further enriching the process. Of course, finding joy beyond the screen isn't just about replacing bad habits with good ones, it's also about cultivating intentionality. Too often we fall into autopilot mode, moving from one activity to the next without fully savoring the experience. Mindfulness helps us break this pattern by encouraging us to slow down and appreciate the present moment. For example, instead of rushing through meals while scrolling through your feed, try practicing mindful eating. Savor each bite, noticing the flavors, textures, and aromas. Pay attention to how your body feels as you nourish it. This simple act transforms an ordinary routine into a source of delight and gratitude. Similarly, household chores, often seen as mundane tasks, can become opportunities for mindfulness and joy. Washing dishes, folding laundry, or tidying up might not sound exciting, but when approached with awareness and care, they reveal hidden pleasures. Listen to the rhythm of water hitting plates, feel the softness of freshly laundered clothes, or notice the satisfaction of seeing your space organized and clean. By reframing these activities, you reclaim them as part of your journey toward balance and contentment. Now, let's address a common obstacle: fear of missing out, or FOMO. One reason we cling to social media is the belief that we'll miss important updates or events if we step away. But here's the truth. Life happens regardless of whether you're online or not. And guess what? Most of what you miss isn't essential. It's noise masquerading as importance. By detaching from the need to stay constantly informed, you free yourself to engage fully with whatever is directly in front of you. Whether it's watching the sunset, listening to birdsong, or enjoying a quiet evening with family, these moments hold far more value than any viral post or trending topic ever could. To support this transition, it's helpful to set clear boundaries around your screen time. Earlier chapters discuss strategies like designating tech-free zones and scheduling regular breaks. Building on those ideas, consider implementing a digital detox day once a week or even a weekend where you disconnect entirely from non-essential technology. Use this time to immerse yourself in offline activities that bring you joy. You might discover talents or interests you never knew you had, or deepen existing hobbies in unexpected ways. Over time, these periods of disconnection will feel less like deprivation and more like liberation. It's also worth noting that finding joy beyond the screen doesn't mean rejecting technology altogether. There's a middle ground between mindless consumption and intentional use. For example, you might use apps to track fitness goals, listen to audiobooks, or connect with supportive communities centered around shared interests. The key is to approach these tools with purpose, ensuring they enhance rather than detract from your well-being. When used mindfully, technology can complement your offline pursuits rather than compete with them. To illustrate this point, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I realized I was spending far too much time comparing myself to others online, particularly when it came to fitness and wellness trends. Every scroll left me feeling inadequate and overwhelmed. Determined to make a change, I decided to channel that energy into something tangible, training for a half marathon. At first, the idea seemed daunting. I hadn't run consistently since high school, but I committed to showing up every day no matter how small the effort. Slowly but surely, I built endurance, strength, and confidence. Along the way, I discovered the sheer joy of lacing up my sneakers and heading outside, rain or shine, knowing that each step brought me closer to my goal. On race day, crossing the finish line wasn't just a personal victory. It was proof that stepping away from the screen could lead to extraordinary growth. If you're inspired to embark on a similar journey, start by brainstorming 3 offline activities you'd like to explore. They don't have to be grand or elaborate. Sometimes the simplest pleasures yield the greatest rewards. Once you've identified your choices, carve out time in your schedule to pursue them. Treat these commitments as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. Remember, consistency is key. Small, repeated actions compound over time, leading to significant changes in how you experience life. As you experiment with different activities, pay attention to how they make you feel. Do they energize you, leaving you eager to return, or do they drain you, signaling that they might not align with your true passions? Trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to pivot if something isn't working. The goal isn't perfection, it is exploration. Each step you take brings you closer to uncovering sources of joy that resonate deeply with who you are. Finally, let's talk about the role of gratitude in amplifying the joy you find offline. Gratitude acts as a magnifier, enhancing your ability to notice and appreciate the positive aspects of your life. To incorporate this practice, keep a journal where you document daily highlights unrelated to social media or technology. Maybe it's the smell of fresh flowers at the market, the sound of children laughing at the playground, or the warmth of sunlight streaming through your window. Reflecting on these moments reinforces their significance, making it easier to seek them out in the future. Here's a quick exercise to guide you through cultivating gratitude for offline joys. Find a comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed. Sit quietly, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax. Now visualize a recent experience that brought you happiness, a meal shared with friends, a hike through scenic trails, or a creative project you completed. Replay the scene in vivid detail, recalling the sights, sounds, smells, and emotions associated with it. As you immerse yourself in the memory, silently say, "I am grateful for this moment." Feel the warmth of appreciation spreading through you, grounding you in the present. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have sparked a renewed sense of wonder and appreciation. For others, it might have highlighted areas where you'd like to invest more energy. Either way, remember that gratitude is a muscle that grows stronger with practice. The more you nurture it, the more abundant your life becomes. Before wrapping up this chapter, I want to leave you with a final thought. Joy exists all around us. It's not confined to pixels or notifications. By stepping away from the screen and embracing the richness of the real world, you open yourself up to endless possibilities for growth, connection, and fulfillment. And perhaps, most importantly, you reclaim your power to define what happiness means to you, not algorithms, advertisers, or societal expectations. As always, I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned so far. What offline activity excites you the most? How might you integrate it into your daily or weekly routine? Write it down, commit to it, and trust that every effort brings you closer to the life you envision. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of finding joy beyond the screen. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 8. Dealing with Withdrawal Symptoms. In this chapter, we're going to tackle one of the most challenging yet inevitable aspects of reducing screen time and disconnecting from social media, dealing with withdrawal symptoms. If you've ever tried to cut back on your device usage, you know that it's not always smooth sailing. Just like breaking any habit, stepping away from technology can trigger a range of uncomfortable feelings: restlessness, boredom, anxiety, or even a sense of loss. These reactions are completely normal, but they can feel overwhelming if you're unprepared. In this chapter, we'll explore why these symptoms occur, how to navigate them with compassion and resilience, and ultimately how to emerge stronger and more empowered on the other side. Let's start by understanding what happens in our brains when we reduce or eliminate habitual behaviors, like scrolling through social media. Our devices and the apps they host are designed to hijack our attention using principles rooted in behavioral psychology. Features like infinite scrolling, push notifications, and variable rewards, think likes, comments, or streaks, create a feedback loop that keeps us coming back for more. Over time, this cycle rewires our neural pathways, making certain actions automatic and difficult to resist. When we suddenly disrupt this pattern by setting boundaries or taking breaks, our brains essentially go into withdrawal mode. Imagine quitting caffeine cold turkey after years of relying on it for energy. You'd likely experience headaches, fatigue, irritability, and cravings as your body adjusted to the absence of something it had grown dependent on. Similarly, when we step away from our phones or favorite apps, we may encounter emotional equivalents of those physical symptoms. We might feel antsy, distracted, or even panicky when we can't immediately access the stimulation we're used to. This is your brain signaling its discomfort while it recalibrates, a process that takes time and patience. One of the most common withdrawal symptoms people report is boredom. Without the constant influx of information, entertainment, or validation provided by social media, it can feel like there's nothing left to fill the void. Suddenly, waiting in line at the grocery store or commuting to work feels intolerably empty. But here's the thing. Boredom isn't inherently bad. It's actually an incredibly fertile state. It forces us to confront gaps in our lives that we've been filling with distractions. And within those gaps lies immense potential for creativity, reflection, and growth. Instead of fearing boredom, view it as an invitation to explore new ways of being present. To manage this particular symptom, try reframing how you think about downtime. Rather than seeing it as wasted or unproductive, embrace it as an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. For example, carry a small notebook with you and jot down thoughts, observations, or sketches whenever you find yourself reaching for your phone out of habit. Alternatively, use the moments of boredom to practice mindfulness. Focus on your breath. Notice these sensations in your body or simply observe your surroundings without judgment. Over time, you'll discover that boredom doesn't have to be something you avoid. It can become a gateway to deeper self-awareness. Another frequent challenge during digital detoxes is restlessness. Many of us turn to our devices as a form of escapism, seeking relief from uncomfortable emotions like stress, loneliness, or uncertainty. When we remove that crutch, those underlying feelings often surface more intensely, leaving us agitated or uneasy. The key to managing restlessness is recognizing it for what it is, a signal that there's unresolved tension or energy needing release. Instead of suppressing it or trying to distract yourself, channel it into constructive outlets. Go for a brisk walk, stretch your muscles, or engage in rhythmic breathing exercises. Physical movement helps dissipate excess energy while calming the nervous system, making it easier to sit with discomfort until it passes. Anxiety is another withdrawal symptom that can arise when we step away from social media. This is especially true for individuals who rely heavily on platforms for professional networking, personal validation, or staying updated on current events. The fear of missing out, FOMO, intensifies as we imagine scenarios where we're excluded, uninformed, or forgotten. While these concerns are understandable, they're often exaggerated by our mind's tendency to catastrophize. To combat anxiety, remind yourself that life continues regardless of whether you're online. Most of what happens on social media isn't urgent or even relevant to your day-to-day existence. By shifting your perspective, you diminish the power FOMO holds over you. If anxiety persists, grounding techniques can be incredibly helpful. One effective method is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory exercise. Pause whatever you're doing and identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This practice anchors you firmly in the present moment, interrupting anxious thought patterns and providing immediate relief. Pair this with deep breathing. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 6, to further regulate your nervous system. Feelings of isolation or disconnection can also surface when we reduce our reliance on social media. The platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter give us the illusion of closeness, but they rarely provide the depth of interaction that truly satisfies our need for belonging. Without these virtual connections, it's natural to worry about losing touch with friends, family, or communities. However, it's important to remember that meaningful relationships thrive on quality, not quantity. Reaching out to loved ones via phone calls, video chats, or in-person meetups fosters intimacy and trust in ways that superficial online interactions cannot replicate. Use this transition period as an opportunity to strengthen bonds with those who matter most. For some, grief-like emotions may accompany the decision to disconnect. If social media has played a central role in your life, for example, serving as a source of income, identity, or community, letting go can feel like saying goodbye to a part of yourself. Acknowledge these feelings without judgment, allowing yourself to mourn the loss while simultaneously embracing the possibilities ahead. Journaling can be particularly therapeutic during this phase. Write about what you're letting go of, what you hope to gain, and how you envision your future unfolding. Processing your emotions in this way accelerates healing and reinforces your commitment to change. Now, let's talk about practical strategies for navigating withdrawal symptoms. One approach is to taper off gradually rather than going cold turkey. For instance, instead of deleting all your apps overnight, set incremental limits on your screen time. Reduce usage by 10% each week, tracking your progress along the way. This method minimizes shock to your system and gives you time to adapt to new routines. Additionally, replace old habits with healthier alternatives. Swap endless scrolling for reading a book, playing a musical instrument, or practicing yoga. The goal is to redirect your attention toward activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Mindfulness meditation remains one of the most powerful tools for managing withdrawal symptoms. As discussed in previous chapters, meditation trains your brain to stay present, no matter how uncomfortable or chaotic things feel internally. During periods of intense craving or agitation, pause and focus on your breath. Feel the air entering and leaving your nostrils, expanding and contracting your chest. Each inhale brings calm. Each exhale releases tension. Even just 5 minutes of mindful breathing can shift your mindset, helping you ride the waves of discomfort with greater ease. Another technique worth exploring is visualization. Close your eyes and picture yourself succeeding in your efforts to reduce screen time. Imagine waking up refreshed after a night free from late-night scrolling, enjoying meals uninterrupted by notifications, or engaging fully in conversations without distraction. Visualization primes your subconscious mind for success, reinforcing positive beliefs and behaviors. Combine this practice with affirmations such as "I am capable of creating balance in my life," or "every step I take brings me closer to freedom." It's also essential to cultivate self-compassion throughout this process. Too often, we criticize ourselves harshly for setbacks, interpreting them as failures rather than learning opportunities. Remember, change is rarely linear. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up, treating yourself with kindness and understanding along the way. When negative self-talk arises, counteract it with gentle reminders. I'm human, I'm learning. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. To illustrate this point, consider the concept of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated experiences. Every time you choose presence over distraction, you strengthen neural pathways associated with mindfulness and intentionality. Conversely, every time you indulge in mindless scrolling, you reinforce existing habits, tied to impulsivity and avoidance. Consistency is key. Even small, consistent actions compound over time, leading to lasting transformation. Celebrate each victory, no matter how minor it seems, knowing that you're laying the foundation for a healthier relationship with technology. Finally, let's address the importance of community support in overcoming withdrawal symptoms. While the journey toward digital detox is deeply personal, you don't have to go it alone. Share your goals with trusted friends or family members who can offer encouragement and accountability. Join online or offline groups dedicated to mindful tech use, where you can exchange tips, share struggles, and celebrate successes together. Knowing that others are walking a similar path reminds you that you're not isolated in your efforts. It's a collective movement toward greater well-being. To guide you further, let's walk through a longer guided meditation specifically tailored to managing withdrawal symptoms. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and allow your body to relax. Begin by taking a few natural breaths, letting go of any tension or effort. Now bring your awareness to your heart center, the area in the middle of your chest. Imagine it glowing softly, radiating warmth and light. Silently repeat the following phrases, directing them toward yourself. I am patient with myself. I honor my progress, no matter how small. I trust in my ability to adapt and grow. I am worthy of peace and fulfillment. Feel the kindness flowing through you, soothing any areas of pain or discomfort. Allow yourself to bask in this unconditional love, knowing that you deserve it completely. Next, visualize yourself successfully navigating withdrawal symptoms. Picture yourself calmly resisting the urge to pick up your phone, choosing instead to engage in a fulfilling offline activity. See yourself smiling, feeling proud of your resilience and determination. Hold this image in your mind, infusing it with positivity and confidence. Conclude the meditation by expanding your circle of compassion outward. Silently repeat, may I find strength in moments of discomfort. May I embrace change with courage and grace. May I inspire others through my actions. May all beings benefit from my growth. Visualize this wish spreading outward, touching everyone and everything it encounters. Feel the interconnectedness of all life, knowing that your efforts contribute to a larger wave of healing and transformation. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have sparked a renewed sense of clarity and resolve. For others, it might have brought up resistance or discomfort. Both experiences are valid. The goal isn't to achieve a particular state, but to cultivate awareness and acceptance of whatever arises. With regular practice, you'll discover that withdrawal symptoms lose their intensity, replaced by a growing sense of empowerment and freedom. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to emphasize that dealing with withdrawal symptoms is not a sign of weakness. It's proof of your willingness to grow. Change requires courage, especially when it involves confronting deeply ingrained habits. By facing these challenges head-on, you demonstrate strength and resilience. And though the road may be bumpy at times, the destination, a life rich with presence, connection and joy, is well worth the effort. Before moving forward, I invite you to reflect on how you'll handle withdrawal symptoms as they arise. What specific strategies resonate with you? How will you remind yourself to stay compassionate and patient throughout the process? Write them down, along with affirmations or mantras that inspire confidence and perseverance. Trust that every step you take brings you closer to the life you envision. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of dealing with withdrawal symptoms. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 9: Cultivating Gratitude. Online. In this chapter, we're going to explore a powerful, yet often overlooked practice that can transform your relationship with social media: cultivating gratitude online. While much of our discussion so far has focused on reducing screen time and setting boundaries, it's equally important to acknowledge that technology, and specifically social media, has the potential to spread positivity, connection, and kindness. The key lies in how we engage with these platforms. By intentionally infusing our digital interactions with gratitude, we not only enhance our own well-being, but also contribute to a culture of appreciation and empathy that extends far beyond our screens. Let's start by understanding why gratitude is such a transformative force. Research consistently shows that practicing gratitude improves mental health, strengthens relationships, and increases overall life satisfaction. When we focus on what we're thankful for, we shift our attention away from scarcity and comparison toward abundance and contentment. This mindset helps us navigate challenges with greater resilience and fosters a deeper sense of fulfillment. But here's the exciting part. Gratitude isn't limited to offline experiences. It can thrive online too. In fact, when we bring gratitude into our digital spaces, we counteract negativity, envy, and division, creating ripples of goodwill that benefit everyone involved. Now, let's talk about how gratitude intersects with social media. At its best, social media serves as a platform for sharing joy, celebrating milestones, and fostering connections across distances. Think about the last time you saw a heartfelt post, a friend announcing an achievement, a family member sharing photos from a vacation, or a stranger documenting their journey through adversity. These moments remind us of the beauty and diversity of human experience. Yet, all too often, we scroll past them without pausing to acknowledge their significance. Or worse, we allow feelings of envy or inadequacy to overshadow our appreciation. Cultivating gratitude online means consciously choosing to celebrate others' successes, express thanks for meaningful interactions, and amplify positivity whenever possible. One of the simplest ways to practice gratitude online is by leaving thoughtful comments. Instead of defaulting to quick likes or emojis, take a moment to craft a genuine response. For example, if someone shares a photo of their new home, write something like, "Congratulations! Your hard work and dedication have clearly paid off. Wishing you many happy memories in this beautiful space." Not only does this kind of feedback brighten the recipient's day, but it also reinforces your own capacity for kindness and generosity. Plus, it sets a tone of authenticity and warmth that encourages others to do the same. Another impactful way to cultivate gratitude online is by sending private messages of appreciation. Public posts are great, but sometimes a direct message carries even more weight because it feels personal and intentional. Consider reaching out to someone who inspires you, a mentor, colleague, or acquaintance, and letting them know how much you value their presence in your life. You might say something like, "I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for always sharing your wisdom and encouragement. It makes such a difference, and I'm truly grateful for you." These small acts of acknowledgement cost nothing but yield immense emotional rewards for both the sender and the recipient. Of course, gratitude doesn't have to be tied exclusively to big events or achievements. Everyday moments offer countless opportunities to express thanks. Did a coworker share an article that sparked your curiosity? Send them a note saying, "Thank you for sharing this resource. It gave me so much to think about." Did a distant friend post a funny meme that made you laugh? Comment, "This was exactly what I needed today. Thanks for brightening my mood." By noticing and appreciating the little things, you create a habit of looking for goodness in unexpected places, a skill that enriches every area of your life. Beyond individual interactions, gratitude can shape the overall tone of your own social media presence. Before posting anything, ask yourself, is this adding value? Will it inspire, uplift, or connect people? If the answer is yes, go ahead. But consider framing it in a way that highlights gratitude. For instance, instead of simply announcing a promotion at work, you might write, "I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've had to grow professionally. None of this would be possible without the support of my amazing team and loved ones. Thank you all for believing in me." This approach not only celebrates your accomplishment, but also acknowledges the contributions of others, fostering a spirit of collaboration and mutual respect. It's also worth noting that gratitude can help mitigate one of the biggest pitfalls of social media: Comparison. We've all experienced those moments where scrolling through our feeds leaves us feeling inadequate or dissatisfied. Someone else's highlight reel seems shinier, happier, or more successful than our reality. But here's the thing. Comparison thrives on scarcity. It convinces us that there isn't enough happiness, success, or validation to go around. Gratitude flips this narrative by reminding us of the abundance already present in our lives. Every time you catch yourself slipping into envy, pause and refocus on what you're thankful for. Maybe it's your health, your supportive relationships, or even the ability to learn and grow from challenges. Shifting your perspective in this way reduces the sting of comparison and allows you to engage with others from a place of authenticity rather than insecurity. To deepen your practice, try incorporating gratitude prompts into your daily routine. For example, set aside 5 minutes each evening to reflect on 3 positive things you encountered online that day. They could be inspiring quotes, heartwarming stories, or simple gestures of kindness. Write them down in a journal or type them into a notes app on your phone. Over time, this habit trains your brain to seek out and savor uplifting content, making your social media experience more fulfilling and less draining. For those who enjoy creative expression, consider using visual storytelling to share your gratitude journey. Platforms like Instagram, Pinterest, or TikTok are perfect for showcasing snippets of your life through photos, videos, or graphics. Create a series of posts highlighting things you're grateful for, whether it's nature, art, food, or acts of kindness. Use captions to elaborate on why these elements matter to you, and invite your followers to join in by sharing their own lists. Collaborative projects like this foster a sense of community and remind participants that gratitude is contagious. Another beautiful aspect of cultivating gratitude online is its ability to bridge divides and build bridges. Social media often amplifies polarization, encouraging echo chambers and hostile debates. But gratitude transcends differences, reminding us of our shared humanity. Imagine responding to a controversial topic not with anger or defensiveness, but with curiosity and appreciation. I appreciate you taking the time to share your perspective. It gives me a chance to learn and grow. While this won't resolve every disagreement, it opens doors for dialogue and understanding, paving the way for more constructive conversations. Now let's address a common concern. What if you encounter negativity or toxicity online despite your efforts to spread positivity? It's inevitable that you'll come across hurtful comments, divisive arguments, or inflammatory posts at some point. Rather than letting these experiences derail your gratitude practice, use them as opportunities to strengthen your resolve. When faced with hostility, respond with compassion, not necessarily outwardly, but inwardly. Take a deep breath and silently offer loving kindness to the person behind the words, recognizing that their behavior likely stems from pain or fear. Then redirect your energy towards something uplifting, a joyful memory, a favorite song, or a meaningful affirmation. This strategy protects your peace while empowering you to stay aligned with your values. To illustrate this point, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I found myself increasingly frustrated by the negativity dominating my social media feeds. Arguments erupted over politics, harsh critiques overshadowed creative endeavors, and trolls seemed to lurk everywhere. Determined to reclaim my digital space, I decided to launch a gratitude challenge. Each day for a month, I posted one thing I was thankful for, accompanied by a brief explanation. Some days it was light-hearted, a delicious meal or a funny animal video. Other days it was deeply personal, an act of forgiveness, a lesson learned from failure. To my surprise, the response was overwhelming. Friends and acquaintances began commenting with their own gratitudes, sparking conversations that felt authentic and nourishing. By the end of the month, my feed had transformed into a source of inspiration and connection, a testament to the power of gratitude to reshape our online worlds. If you're inspired to embark on a similar project, start small. Dedicate 1 week to focusing exclusively on gratitude in your posts and interactions. Notice how this shift affects your mood, your relationships, and your overall experience of social media. Chances are you'll find it easier to stay grounded and optimistic, even amidst the chaos. From there, expand your efforts however feels right, whether it's continuing the challenge indefinitely, collaborating with others, or finding new ways to integrate gratitude into your routine. Here's a quick exercise to guide you through cultivating gratitude online. Find a comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed. Sit quietly, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax. Now visualize a recent interaction on social media that brought you joy, a comment that cheered you up, a post that inspired you, or a message that touched your heart. Replay the scene in vivid detail, recalling the emotions it evoked. As you immerse yourself in the memory, silently say, "I am grateful for this moment." Feel the warmth of appreciation spreading through you, grounding you in the present. Next, think about someone in your network who has positively impacted your life recently. It could be anyone, a close friend, a casual acquaintance, or even someone you admire from afar. Visualize their face clearly, imagining the qualities you appreciate most about them. With sincerity, send them silent wishes of gratitude. "Thank you for being part of my world. Your presence enriches my life in ways large and small." Hold this intention for several breaths, allowing it to sink deeply into your heart. Finally, consider how you'd like to express gratitude moving forward. Will you leave more thoughtful comments? Send private messages of appreciation? Share uplifting content regularly? Whatever you choose, commit to making it a priority. Remember, gratitude is a practice. It grows stronger with repetition and intention. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have sparked a renewed sense of purpose and connection. For others, it might have highlighted areas where you'd like to invest more energy. Either way, remember that gratitude is a muscle that grows stronger with use. The more you nurture it, the more abundant your life becomes. Before wrapping up this chapter, I want to leave you with a final thought. Gratitude transforms not only the giver, but also the receiver, and everyone who witnesses the exchange. By bringing gratitude online, you create a ripple effect of positivity that touches countless lives, including your own. And in doing so, you redefine what social media can be, a tool for connection, celebration, and collective upliftment. As always, I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned so far. How will you incorporate gratitude into your digital interactions? What specific actions will you take to ensure your online presence reflects your values? Write them down, commit to them, and trust that every effort brings you closer to the life you envision. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of cultivating gratitude online. Together, we're uncovering pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. Chapter 10: Integrating Mindfulness into Daily Life. In this final chapter of our journey together, we're going to explore one of the most profound truths about mindfulness. It's not confined to meditation cushions or designated mindful moments. True mindfulness is a way of being, a mindset that permeates every aspect of your daily life. Whether you're brushing your teeth, sending emails, cooking dinner, or scrolling through social media, mindfulness can transform even the most ordinary activities into opportunities for presence, connection, and joy. Let's dive deep into how you can integrate mindfulness into your everyday routines, creating a life rich with intentionality and meaning. To begin, let's clarify what we mean by integrating mindfulness into daily life. At its core, mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moments without judgment. It's about noticing what's happening right now, whether it's the sensation of water running over your hands as you wash dishes, the rhythm of your footsteps as you walk, or the emotions arising during a challenging conversation. When we bring mindfulness into our daily lives, we stop rushing from one task to the next on autopilot. Instead, we slow down, savoring each experience fully and consciously, choosing how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Now, you might be wondering, how do I make mindfulness part of my routine when I'm already juggling so many responsibilities? The beauty of mindfulness lies in its accessibility. Unlike formal meditation practices, which require dedicated time and space, integrating mindfulness into daily life doesn't demand extra effort. It simply asks you to show up differently. You don't need to overhaul your schedule or adopt complicated rituals. Instead, you can weave mindfulness seamlessly into the fabric of your day. Here's how. One of the easiest ways to start is by focusing on your breath throughout the day. Your breath is always with you, serving as an anchor to the present moment whenever you feel scattered or overwhelmed. For example, before starting a meeting, taking a phone call, or responding to an email, pause and take 3 deliberate breaths. Feel the air entering and leaving your body, grounding you in the here and now. This brief interruption resets your nervous system, helping you approach tasks with greater clarity and calmness. Over time, these micro moments of mindfulness add up, transforming how you navigate both mundane and high-stakes situations. Another powerful entry point for mindfulness is eating. How often do we rush through meals, barely tasting our food, as we scroll through our phones or multitask? Mindful eating invites us to slow down and engage all our senses. Before digging in, take a moment to appreciate the colors, textures, and aromas of your meal. As you eat, chew slowly, savoring each bite. Notice how the flavors evolve, how the food feels in your mouth, and how your body responds to nourishment. Not only does this practice enhance enjoyment, but it also improves digestion and prevents overeating by tuning you into your body's hunger and fullness cues. Mindfulness can also revolutionize household chores, tasks that are often seen as tedious or burdensome. Washing dishes, folding laundry, or vacuuming may not sound exciting, but they offer perfect opportunities to practice presence. For instance, as you scrub a plate, notice the warmth of the water, the scent of the soap, and the motion of your hands. If your mind starts to wander, gently guide it back to the sensations of the task at hand. By approaching these activities with awareness and care, you turn them into meditative experiences, fostering a deeper appreciation for the simple pleasures of life. Transitioning between activities is another area where mindfulness shines. Too often, we move from one thing to the next without pausing to reset, leaving us feeling frazzled and fragmented. To counteract this, create intentional breaks between tasks. For example, after finishing a work project, stand up, stretch, and take a few deep breaths before diving into the next item on your list. Similarly, if you find yourself reaching for your phone out of habit, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Does it serve me in this moment? These small acts of reflection help you stay aligned with your intentions, reducing mindless behavior and increasing overall focus. Speaking of technology, let's talk about how mindfulness applies specifically to social media and device usage. Earlier chapters discuss strategies like setting boundaries, practicing gratitude, and cultivating loving kindness online. Now let's expand on those ideas by exploring how mindfulness can elevate your digital interaction. For instance, before opening an app or responding to a message, check in with yourself. Are you feeling anxious, bored, or triggered? Acknowledge these emotions without judgment, then decide whether engaging will truly benefit you, or if there's a healthier alternative. By bringing awareness to your motivations, you reclaim agency over your actions, ensuring that your technology use supports rather than detracts from your well-being. Another key aspect of mindful tech use involves savoring content rather than consuming it mindlessly. Think about the last time you scrolled through your feed. Did you pause to reflect on what you were seeing, or did you zip past posts without absorbing their meaning? To break this cycle, try adopting a one post at a time approach. Engage deeply with each piece of content, asking yourself, what emotions, does this evoke? Does it inspire me, educate me, or connect me to something larger than myself? If the answer is yes, interact thoughtfully. Leave a meaningful comment, share the post with someone who might appreciate it, or save it for later reflection. If the answer is no, scroll away without guilt, knowing that your time is precious and deserves to be spent wisely. Beyond individual practices, mindfulness extends to how we relate to others, both online and offline. One of the most impactful ways to cultivate mindfulness in relationships is through active listening. Too often, we listen to respond rather than to understand, interrupting or planning our next comment instead of truly hearing what the other person is saying. Mindful listening flips this dynamic by encouraging us to give our full attention to the speaker. Maintain eye contact, nod occasionally, and resist the urge to interject. If distractions arise, thoughts, judgments, or external noise, acknowledge them briefly, then refocus on the conversation. This simple act of presence strengthens bonds and fosters mutual respect, whether you're chatting face-to-face or exchanging messages digitally. For those navigating conflict or difficult conversations, mindfulness offers invaluable tools for staying grounded and empathetic. When tensions rise, pause and take a few conscious breaths. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground, reminding yourself that you are safe and capable of handling whatever arises. Then respond, not react, from a place of compassion and understanding. For example, instead of lashing out defensively, you might say, "I hear you and I want to understand where you're coming from." This shift in tone de-escalates tension and opens the door for productive dialogue. Now, let's address a common misconception that mindfulness requires perfection. Many people assume that to be mindful, they must achieve a state of constant calm and clarity. But the truth is, mindfulness isn't about eliminating stress, discomfort, or distraction. It's about relating to these experiences differently. Every time you notice your mind wandering, every time you catch yourself reacting impulsively, celebrate it as a victory. Why? Because awareness itself is the foundation of mindfulness. The more you observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, the easier it becomes to choose responses that align with your values. To support this process, consider incorporating mindfulness reminders into your environment. Sticky notes with affirmations like "breathe deeply," "stay present," or "notice the good" can serve as gentle nudges throughout the day. Alternatively, set alarms on your phone labeled with prompts such as "pause and breathe" or "check in with yourself." These cues reinforce your commitment to living mindfully, helping you stay anchored in the present moment even amidst chaos. Another helpful technique is body scanning, which involves systematically bringing awareness to different parts of your body. This practice is particularly effective for releasing physical tension caused by stress or prolonged screen time. To try it, sit or lie down comfortably and close your eyes. Starting at the top of your head, mentally scan downward, noticing any areas of tightness, discomfort, or relaxation. Breathe into those sensations, imagining them softening and dissolving. Continue until you reach your toes, feeling a wave of ease spreading through your entire body. Even just 5 minutes of body scanning can leave you feeling refreshed and revitalized. Let's also touch on the role of self-compassion in sustaining mindfulness. Too often we criticize ourselves harshly for perceived failures or setbacks, whether it's losing focus during meditation, slipping back into old habits, or struggling to manage emotions. Mindfulness teaches us to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, recognizing that imperfection is part of the human experience. When frustration arises, remind yourself, "I'm learning, I'm growing, every step counts." Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend, offering encouragement and patience along the way. Finally, let's discuss the cumulative impact of integrating mindfulness into daily life. While individual practices may seem small or insignificant, their effects compound over time, leading to profound shifts in how you perceive and interact with the world. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of purpose, moving through your day with intention, and ending each evening feeling fulfilled and at peace. Picture yourself navigating challenges with resilience, celebrating joys with gratitude, and connecting with others from a place of authenticity and empathy. These outcomes aren't reserved for monks or meditation experts. They're available to anyone willing to embrace mindfulness as a lifestyle. To guide you further, let's walk through a longer guided mindfulness exercise designed to integrate awareness into various aspects of your day. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. Close your eyes and allow your body to relax. Begin by taking a few natural breaths, letting go of any tension or effort. Now visualize yourself moving through a typical day, moment by moment, infusing each activity with mindfulness. Start with waking up. Feel the sunlight streaming through your window. Hear the birds chirping outside, and stretch your arms overhead. Take 3 deep breaths, setting an intention for the day ahead. Next, imagine preparing breakfast. Notice the colors and textures of the ingredients, the aroma wafting through the air, and the taste of each bite. Transition to commuting or beginning work. Visualize yourself sitting at your desk, taking a few calming breaths before diving into tasks. Throughout the day, picture yourself pausing regularly to reconnect with your breath, stretch your body, and express gratitude for moments of connection or accomplishment. Move on to evening activities. See yourself winding down, perhaps reading a book, journaling, or spending quality time with loved ones. End the visualization by lying in bed, reflecting on the day's highlights, and sending loving kindness to yourself and others. Silently repeat, "May I rest peacefully tonight. May I wake refreshed tomorrow. May all beings find happiness and ease." Pause for guided exercise, giving viewers time to participate. How did that feel? For some of you, it might have sparked a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. For others, it might have highlighted areas where you'd like to invest more energy. Either way, remember that mindfulness is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Every effort counts, no matter how small. Before wrapping up this chapter and our exploration together, I want to leave you with a final thought. Mindfulness transforms not only the moments we inhabit, but also the legacy we leave behind. By choosing presence over distraction, compassion over judgment, and intentionality over autopilot, we create ripples of positivity that extend far beyond ourselves. And in doing so, we redefine what it means to live fully and authentically. As always, I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned so far. How will you continue integrating mindfulness into your daily life? What specific actions will you take to ensure that presence becomes your default mode? Write them down, commit to them, and trust that every step brings you closer to the life you envision. Thank you for joining me on this transformative journey. Together, we've uncovered pathways to greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment, even in a hyper-connected world. And so we arrive at the end of our journey together, a journey that has taken us deep into the heart of mindfulness, meditation, and the art of disconnecting from social media with intention and grace. As we bring this video to a close, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored and to leave you with some final thoughts to carry forward. Throughout these chapters, we've uncovered powerful tools and practices designed to help you navigate the complexities of modern life. Not by rejecting technology altogether, but by using it mindfully and purposefully. We've talked about the challenges of constant connectivity, the importance of setting boundaries, and the transformative potential of breath awareness, loving kindness, gratitude, and presence. Each of these teachings offers a pathway back to yourself, a way to reclaim your attention, your time, and your energy so that you can live more fully in alignment with your values. But perhaps the most important lesson is this: mindfulness isn't something you do for 10 minutes a day and then set aside. It's a lens through which you view the world, a way of being that infuses every moment with awareness, compassion, and curiosity. Whether you're scrolling through your feed, washing dishes, or walking in nature, mindfulness invites you to show up fully, embracing each experience exactly as it is. And when you do, you'll find that even the simplest moments hold extraordinary beauty. As you move forward, remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. There will be days when old habits creep back in, when distractions pull you away, or when life feels overwhelming. That's okay. What matters is not how often you stumble, but how consistently you return to the present moment, with patience, kindness, and an open heart. Every step you take toward greater mindfulness strengthens your ability to live with clarity and joy. I also want to acknowledge the courage it takes to embark on this kind of journey. Choosing to disconnect, even temporarily, from the digital noise that surrounds us requires bravery and self-awareness. It asks us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, our habits, and our relationships with technology. But know this, you are not alone. Countless others are walking similar paths, seeking balance and fulfillment in a hyper-connected world. Together, we form a community of seekers, people committed to creating lives rich with meaning, connection, and peace. If you found value in today's exploration, I invite you to share this video with someone who might benefit from it. Maybe it's a friend struggling with burnout, a family member looking to reduce screen time, or a colleague interested in mindfulness. By spreading these ideas, you contribute to a culture of presence and empathy, one that benefits everyone it touches. Before we part ways, I'd like to offer one last exercise, a simple yet profound practice to anchor you in gratitude and possibility. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Now silently repeat these affirmations to yourself. I am enough, just as I am. I choose to live with intention and purpose. Every moment hold the potential for growth and joy. Feel the truth of these words sinking into your heart, grounding you in the knowledge that you have everything you need to create the life you desire. Thank you for joining me here on the Mindful Zone. My hope is that this video has inspired you, supported you, and equipped you with practical tools to cultivate greater mindfulness and well-being in your daily life. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others. It means the world to me to know that these teachings are reaching those who need them most. Until next time, may you find peace in the present moment, strength in your journey, and light in the connections you nurture, both online and off. Be gentle with yourself, stay curious, and trust that every effort brings you closer to the life you envision. Namaste.